If you're like me, you walk into a big box home repair store hoping that the folks who work there can help you with your questions. Unfortunately, it's not always true, and this just happened to me yesterday. The good news is there's a solution. I'm going to share my story with what happened and the things that probably could have kept it from happening to me. And the good news is I'm going to share just a couple of super easy secrets that aren't really secrets that will make sure it doesn't happen to you. Hang tight. I'm going to tell you exactly how to make sure this problem goes away right after this. Hey guys, it's Darren from Darren's Reviews and How To. We're going to do kind of a little bit of both today. It's going to be a little bit of a review, a little bit of a how-to, and a tiny bit of a rant. Now, I am not a big fan of rant videos because frankly, they're people just going off for 8 minutes about how angry they are at something and how terrible something was, but there's never a solution at the end, and that's the difference. I am going to give you some solutions to the problem that I ran into last night, and frankly, I probably could have alleviated it if I had followed my own advice, which I've done before, and then this wouldn't happen. So really simply, I'm just doing a quick little plumbing job for somebody. It's a quick little bathroom fix. So I needed some quarter-turn shutoff valves for the water supply, for the toilet, and for the sink. And so I needed 3 quarter-turn, half-inch compression fit shutoff valves for the project I'm doing. I'm very old-fashioned. I actually prefer compression fittings instead of shark bite, and nobody likes soldering. I'm not that old-fashioned. By the way, if that should be a video topic, please make a note in the comments down below if you really want me to do a review and comparing them, because I'd be happy to do that. So I explained to the gentleman at Lowe's, because of course their shelves were a complete jumble of what I was looking for. Now, this guy was lost. He didn't know what a compression fitting was. You could tell he was staring at an 8-foot wide section of bins with absolutely no clue what I was asking for, which was kind of frustrating because to talk about a quarter-turn shutoff valve with a compression fitting is not particularly uncommon or complex. Now, he admitted, to his credit, that he had just recently started and he had never worked in the trades. My goodness, he wasn't a plumber. And he was an office guy who lost his job and Lowe's hired him. So he was honest about it, which I'll give him credit. But he had zero idea of what was doing. And it's not because he didn't know where something was. It's because he didn't know what the heck I was talking about. And that's kind of frustrating. If you're a homeowner walking in and you're trying to describe something and you're not quite sure to someone who isn't quite sure, 2 things happen. You leave with nothing, or maybe worse, you leave with the wrong thing. And then either you've got to go back and exchange it, or worse, and this is the worst, you apply the wrong product to a certain job and disaster happens. And clearly when you're talking plumbing and electrical, those are the 2 things you do not want to mess up. But I digress, because those are topics for entirely other videos. So long story short, we went through everything. He couldn't find anything. He couldn't have been more apologetic. I actually spent a couple minutes trying to explain to him what the difference in the fittings were and how they all work. And the guy was really thankful because I treated him respectfully, which I think you should do with everybody, because it's not his fault. He wasn't trained. I blame the people at Lowe's for this. And I've had the same experience at Home Depot. Menards is not anywhere near around me, so I can't comment on how Menards does with their people. But the long and short of this is I could have avoided this entire thing. And it's pretty simple how I could have avoided it. And here's how. So all I had to do was go onto the Lowe's website before I went into the store, put in the description of exactly what it was I was looking for. And then what'll happen is it'll spit out a whole bunch of items, as these search engines do. But what I ended up with was exactly the product that I needed. Now here's the key to it. What you were looking for is, in the case of Lowe's, they use either a 6-digit or a 7-digit. They call it the item number. Now it's not the manufacturer product number. It's not a serial number. It's a 6 or 7-digit number, and it's all numerals. There's no letters in it, assigned specifically by Lowe's to make exactly what I'm talking about somewhat avoidable. So what you should do, and you could do this in your car before you go into the store, write down those numbers. Now, Lowe's is pretty good. They might have an internet number, but typically the item number will be denoted very clearly. It's usually at the top of the screen of the specific item that you're looking for. You've got to click on the item, and then you'll see it up there. It says item number, and it's that either 6 or 7-digit code. Just write that, walk into the store. It could be anything. And if you could walk up to the customer service desk and tell them, I need item number, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, they will tell you what it is. They will tell you what aisle it's in. They can typically even tell you what bay it's in. Okay. Home Depot's a little bit different. Home Depot's, they call them SKU numbers, SKU. And I'm not going to get into what that means. Sequential counting unit. I forget what it means. Okay, if anybody knows what SKU is an acronym for, please put it in the comments below and tell me what it means. I know counting doesn't start with a K, by the way. So they use a 10-digit number. Again, it's all numerals. There's no alphabetical characters in there, but Home Depot is a tiny bit more complicated because they will say SKU number. They will say SKU SO number. Some items are internet-only items. It will say internet number. Your best situation is just write them all down. By the way, I would also write the manufacturer's item number down as well. It doesn't hurt to have it. But typically from Lowe's and Home Depot, just having their individual, unique, for their business, a Home Depot SKU number is not going to work in Lowe's, obviously, because it's assigned by Home Depot. It's not assigned by the manufacturer. But this is a great way to walk in, be exactly sure what it is you need, and not have to rely on a store attendant, again, through no fault of theirs, that are just untrained in some of these things, and they can't really help you. There's one more part of this that I think has been a good secret, and it's if you look above all of the retail part of Lowe's or Home Depot, and you look high up on the shelves, that's where they do all their storage. Obviously, they're big warehouse stores. They don't have back stock. I guess they call it up stock because it's up in the air. So those numbers that we're talking about, every single box, if you've never looked up in one of the big box stores, you will see hundreds of boxes, and every single one of them in big black Sharpie will have those item numbers or SKU numbers I was talking about. So if you're looking around and fishing on the shelf and you can't find something and you know specifically what it is, don't just leave. There's a really good chance that it's not out of stock, it's just not on the retail shelf. So look up. I've often had to look 3 or 4 bays down. I've actually had to look behind me a few times that you will find these items that they're in stock. They're just not on the shelf. And if that happens, just ask one of the attendants and they'll grab those gigantic ladders that they have and they'll climb up there and they'll grab it for you. So you get to leave with what exactly it is you knew, or you needed rather. So those are just a couple of things to make things a bit more pleasant. Again, I can't say it enough. Respect the people who work there. It really is, and I'm hoping maybe someone at Lowe's and Home Depot is watching this video. Train your people, or at least give them the answers to get to the answer. And, I think people are far less likely to leave frustrated. As I said, you are far less likely to leave with the wrong product. I can't state it enough. The number of things I've repaired where people have done it themselves, done it the wrong way. Hey, it's one thing if you patch a sheetrock hole wrong. You can imagine the disasters if you use the wrong size fitting on your plumbing or you improperly wire something that's buried in your wall. Circuit breaker's probably going to trip 99% of the time, but it takes one spark and, half your house burns down. So not to be too alarmist. So that's my rant. I am not a big ranter, as I said, but I was a little frustrated by this experience, which did have a solution to it, which could have happened preemptively. And I hope that helps you guys shop at the big box stores a little bit more effectively. Until next time, I'm Darren.